guess who spoke out this weekend for the first time? Nathan Wade. In an interesting move, because he had apparently agreed to sit down with Kristen Welker of NBC. He bailed on her and embarrassed NBC and showed up a couple of 6 weeks later on ABC, where he sat and was asked precisely 0 difficult questions. I mean, 0. I will give you one exchange that I thought was of particular note to me in particular. Here it is, Deb. Run that soundbite we just talked about.
So you didn't realize when you took the case, your life was really going to be under a microscope?
I did not realize that my life would be in danger. The microscope, I don't have a problem with. The truth is, if the worst that you could find was the fact that I had a relationship with someone, or that I happen to be going through a divorce, that's okay. That's okay. I have nothing to hide.
Now, a responsible journalist would follow up with, well, that wasn't the worst that we found. What we actually found was that you perjured yourself, both in your divorce case and in this case, where the judge found you told a story that smacked with the odor of mendacity, where he was obviously deeply distressed at your ethical choices. And by the way, why did you do that? Why did you say under oath in your divorce proceedings that you were not having an extramarital affair when you clearly were? What, was that not an inappropriate ethical lapse? Why did you testify in your affidavit that she always paid cash for everything when that seems to be patently untrue? Why, sir, did you go over to her house from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. and then try to tell the court that it was because there was a Porsche dealership nearby? Those are some things that you might feel some shame about, not just your extramarital affair, which you claim began while you were separated, but you were still with your wife when it was underway. So those are some of the things an interested reporter, somebody who's open-minded to actual facts, Victor, might have asked of Nathan Wade. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have asked him what in your background made you qualified to prosecute the most important case probably in the United States at the time, when you've never tried a felony or criminal case in your life. What recommended you to Fani Willis? It wasn't your judicial experience. And what did you talk to when you went to the White House? And why did you bill the Georgia District Attorney's Office for 24 straight hours of legal service? And I think you billed them, and correct me, you should ask them if that's wrong, that you billed the time you were in the White House soliciting apparently counsel from the White House counsel's office. So there, it's that whole, I think that particular gambit won't work. I think it's too far gone now, tainted. And at some point they're going to have to shut it down because of both of them in that record. And maybe if it ever had a change of
he disagrees with you entirely. She asked him about criticism from the left, of course, like the Washington Post, that this was reckless, that they imperiled a very important case. And that's why the left is mad at Nathan Wade. Here's what he said at SOT 20.
Do you think that you've done any kind of damage to this case?
None at all.
Even the public perception of it?
There again, this takes me back to the initial statement that I made. My private life became the focal point of the case. And my private life has nothing to do with the merits of that prosecution.
Quick follow-up, SOT 19. Take a listen.
Workplace romances are as American as apple pie. It happens to everyone.
Oh, apple pie.
But it happened to the two of us.
Do you regret
that thing? I regret that private matter became the focal point of this very important prosecution. This is a very important case. I hate that my personal life has begun to overshadow the true issues in the case.
It's unbelievable how, why this became an issue is not because you happened to find love while prosecuting Trump. It's the fact that You were hired by your boss. Fani Willis is the person who was in charge ultimately of bringing you in, of your paychecks, which she just rubber stamped. When she was in the office, she paid you more than she paid the other two special prosecutors who were brought in, despite, as Victor points out, you not having the same qualifications to try a massive RICO case against a former president of the United States. And then you took her all over the world on the taxpayer's dollar, thus creating an incentive for the two of you to keep the case going, to indict the case, because the romance was happening before the indictment came down, and then to keep the case going, none of which was pressed in the interview by someone who was supposed to be a member of the press corps.
Yeah, and I mean, the basic question is, he knows that when he said it was all about his personal life, is that in any courtroom, if a member of the prosecuting attorney's legal staff lies under oath pertinent to the case, and he did when he denied that relationship, then how can they, with any credibility, press a case and have the defendant expect to be telling the truth and put the defendant on her oath when their own staff is lying under oath? So the case should have been dismissed, and I think no other county, if it was removed, would ever try him, and they know that. So I think all of these things, I think the left knows that they're all going to eventually be thrown out on appeal, maybe at the federal level or maybe at the Supreme Court, but they don't care because they feel they're doing damage right now. And all they want is Trump tied up, money going out of his campaign, his pocket, getting him angry, psychologically, physically wearing him down. And then if we learn after the election that they were all fraudulent and just a joke, they'll think that's, it's kind of like Harry Reid when he lied about Mitt Romney's not paying his taxes. He said it worked, didn't it?
To me, Victor, it's infuriating because to watch a member of the press completely fall down on the job and not ask any difficult questions of the guy, it makes my skin crawl. She should have gone in there with his interrogatory, and she should have said, "You lied under oath. This is a sworn document. You're an officer of the court. You lied when asked for any receipts or any documents whatsoever that might show any travel with a woman other than your wife during a set period of dates. Didn't have to be while you were happily married. It was any time prior to the divorce. That would have included periods of separation. In fact, they were specific on that. Because his excuse on the stand was, well, we were separated. That it included specifically while you were separated. You were required to say what you had done during that period too, with a woman other than your wife. You lied, and you said there were none, that no expenses had been paid, that no trips had been taken, that there was no time between you and a woman not your wife. That's what you said under oath. And only when that became an issue in this second proceeding that you have against Trump did you go back to your sworn interrogatory answers and change your answer, to quote, amend your answer to assert the Fifth Amendment privilege, which is against self-incrimination. But when asked about it on the stand, you tried to say, oh, that's not the privilege I was trying to raise. I was trying to raise a privacy privilege, which is made up, sir. Why did you do that? Didn't you violate your duty of candor to the court and to your constituency? It's not that hard. Use your brain. Do some research. I just wrote it for you. If anybody else gets a shot at Nathan Wade, do it. If you have any it's so infuriating. This is why we never make progress. People like this get away with it.
Why didn't the judge, though, throw it out? Everybody said he was sober and judicious, and he was a model of, it was spineless. And the same thing with Jean Carroll. She said that she couldn't remember if it was 94, 95, or 96, but she did remember it happened because she had a designer dress, which we now know didn't exist at the time of her accusation. So all the judges in all of these cases, it's really, my mother was she was the second female appellate court judge in California, and almost the first. At the same time, two women were appointed Fresno County Superior Court. And so I grew up, she had judges, she had them socially over, and we had enormous respect for judges. And I've lost that respect watching this circus now, because all of these judges, the judge in the Carroll case, the judge in the Latita James case, hamming it up to the cameras, this judge, they're all political, and it's not even a trial; it's a circus. And I think that I wish Donald Trump would find a strategy that he could show that it's a circus without tweeting and getting himself in jail. But I'm not sure he can. I don't know what else you're supposed to do except sit there and watch the circus proceed. And you can't do that if you're running for president.
Can your savings weather an economic storm? Think about what you've put away for the future. Inflation can render cash worthless. Real estate can crash like it did in 2008. Economies built on a mountain of debt can fall like a house of cards. There are very few physical assets you can invest in that can stand the test of time. But gold is one of them. It's why many people are flocking to gold right now and why Birch Gold is busier than ever. Through a little-known tax loophole, Birch Gold lets you convert a retirement account into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. To learn more, text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit on gold. Again, can your IRA or 401k weather an economic storm? If not, consider looking into Birch Gold. Text MK to 989898 and explore securing your savings today. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.